Good afternoon, MJ families. This is Bill Trivett, your Vice Mayor and City Commissioner, District 2, for the folks that may not know. So I'm out here today at the fire station right across the street from Green Hills High School, and I'm want to take a little bit of time just to bring us all together and answer some questions of what's coming up for our city, as well as what is our fire department also doing for the safety as well as the up and coming events. So I'll hand it over to you.
Hey, I'm Mark Folks. I'm your fire chief. We're here to kind of talk about some of the summer safety things. Is what we want to go into as we're getting into summer. It's finally starting to warm up. It's been a little bit delayed here lately, but finally starting to warm up. And one of the things that we want to see is everybody being safe. And so one of the big things right now is the drought. We're even though we've had some rain in the last few days, we're still very, very far behind on a rainfall. And so anytime that you're burning brush, just make sure that the wind conditions are not excessive, that the humidity is pretty good that day and it's not really, really low humidity and that kind of stuff, and make sure that you're keeping a good defensible area around what you're burning there and keeping the hose handy to where you can put that fire out. And as we want to let everybody know, the regulations in the city for open burning are basically it's a 6x6 pile. It's about the most that you can have, about 36 square feet. Is about the biggest that you can have as far as pile goes. We can't have big debris piles that we're burning, and unless it's a commercial burn. Commercial burns, we can allow those, but we ask them to pit those and then have some blower fans and doing those things where it keeps the smoke and the ash down and doesn't affect our residents at a negative angle.
Okay, so just so I can get an understanding here, so commercial burns would be more towards like the development side, is that correct?
Yeah, land clearing where they've got a lot of trees that they've cleared from the land and they're going to burn them.
And those are permitted, is that correct?
Yeah, we permit those and then we have them put them in a pit. They dig a pit and put them in the pit, and then we use blower fans to where it gets a lot of heat generated and it produces very little smoke, so it doesn't affect our residents.
Okay, well that's good to know, especially for the residents that may be around some different types of projects. As we all know, Mount Juliet's growing, so it's a good opportunity for us to at least hold our contractors accountable if it's becoming a nuisance to our citizens, right?
Exactly.
That's good, that's good. So obviously for the folks see here, I'm keeping a list because there's so many great things that are happening in our city, as well as I want to make sure that I answer some of some of our neighbors and friends, because there's a lot of questions coming out. Obviously, the most recent one, the Station 3 station that's being built, that's now completed, and the location. There was some questions there of why we put it there.
Yeah, well, the biggest reason we put it there is we did some GIS mapping work to where we identified the other two stations that we have, where would be the best location to put that station for us to cover the most residents that we have. And so we knew that it needed to be somewhere near the intersection of North Mount Juliet Road and Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of became our focus area. And then we were able to find the property that we're sitting on now through some very good fortune and the good luck of being introduced to the laws and them wanting to sell the property that they had inherited. It wound up being a great thing for them. It wound up being a great thing for us. And it's an absolutely fantastic location for us to have a fire station. It's allowed us to centralize our ladder truck. Our ladder truck used to be down at Belinda Parkway in the south side of town. So to get from Belinda Parkway to Green Hill High School, obviously is a haul. And so putting that ladder truck in the center of the city and getting it central to the city, because it responds all over the city. It doesn't just have those territories that it's responding to primarily, it responds all over. As well as our battalion chief and our EMS captain, they also respond citywide. And so getting them in the center of the city to where they can respond better to all the emergencies that may happen or where they may need to be in the city just made a lot of sense for us, and that's why we built the station as big as we did to house that. In addition to that, it's also central, but very centralized, and so we put a lot of training space there. We had never had training space of our own that we had in our department, and so we were sharing space over at our annex, the City Hall annex. But before that, even we were begging schools for classroom space. We were Sunrise Industries was another place that allowed us to do a lot of training at their facility there, and we were very appreciative of that. But having our own dedicated training space makes a huge difference for us to be able to conduct training there at that station.
So not to put you on the spot, because I know the big talk here lately is keeping the streets clean from the city, especially of our outsiding communities with our police. What is the average response time for EMS and fire?
Average response time is under 4 minutes from the time that we get the call to the time that we respond. And so we average around 15 calls a day on average. And then And those calls keep going up every year. So year after year, they keep going up. And then by 2030, we're expected to have over 8,000 calls. Last year, I think we answered 2024, we answered a little over 5,200. And so I know that those are continuing to go up, and by 2030, we'll be answering about 8,000 calls a year.
That's amazing. And especially with all the new equipment that we have, the technology. I was told there's some partnership with the drones that's coming up. Is that also a partnership there?
Yeah, the police department has got drones coming on as part of our enhanced communication center. We'll have drones. We'll actually have one there at Station 3 on Old Lebanon Dirt Road because it's a great central location. The other one will be off the police department building. It's where they'll fly from. But it really is a game changer for us because it gives us an initial look at the emergency before we ever get there. So on our iPads that are in our fire trucks, which we use as our mobile data terminals for calls and all of our information gathering, they'll be able to see the call before we actually arrive. So if we have a car accident, we'll be able to see how involved the car accident is, how many cars there are, if it appears if everybody's out of the car, if it appears people may be trapped in the car. Different things like that, house fires, other emergencies. It's going to give us a great overhead view of that before we ever get on the scene. So it's kind of the eye in the sky for us doing that. And it's a great partnership that we have with the police department, setting those drones up at both Station 3 and at the police department headquarters.
No, I was excited about that, especially when I got a chance to hear that as that drone sending back the information, that may also determine if you guys are having to obviously put the rest of the residents in any other type of warnings or let's say emergency because of the fact that now you guys can either slow down or speed up, right?
Yes, exactly.
Based off of that. Is that correct term?
Yeah, we would be able to, if we know that we don't have the scale of emergency that was originally called in, we can scale down the response and either shut down a non-emergency response or even cancel some of the responding units. And then if we see something that got called in as something minor and we see that this is a whole lot more major, we can get those resources rolling a lot faster to get the necessary resources there to the citizens. So
the next question I have is about the tiller truck. I hear we got a new truck that came into to the fire department?
Yep, we got a new ladder truck. So our old ladder truck that was at Station 1, the tower that was there, it's a 100-foot platform aerial truck that we've had since 2013, since the department came on board. We knew that it was nearing its aged out date per NFPA requirements for us, and so we were kind of looking at that as, okay, we need to replace this truck, but we also have some rescue capabilities that we have a very distinct lack of storage for. So a lot of our vehicle extrications, especially with the truck traffic that we have, we got a lot of truck traffic in Mount Juliet with Amazon and with SEVA and a lot of our other industries, Under Armour. We got a lot of vehicular truck traffic and those things, and we have extrications from time to time that we need to be able to perform on, especially when it's those heavy trucks that we just don't have the space in our normal fire trucks to store that equipment. A lot of cities, most of the cities around us and most cities our size, most all cities our size have rescue trucks. And so they staff rescue trucks and put a rescue truck in place with personnel that has all those rescue components on it. So in Mount Juliet, we were kind of weighing that decision of we got to replace the ladder, but we're also needing rescue capabilities. So one of our firefighters actually came to us and said, if we went with a tiller ladder, which has a lot more storage in it because it's a tractor trailer style, it's a tractor drawn apparatus, and so it's got a tractor trailer and the trailers on it. Those trucks actually have about 4 times the amount of storage as a normal ladder truck does. And so it gives us the capability of storing all the rescue equipment that we need without having to staff and maintain another truck, a rescue truck, purchase that rescue truck. So this tiller truck cost about $300,000 more than it would have cost if we would have just replaced the tower exactly as it was spec'd out before.
Okay.
But with that $300,000, it gives us the capabilities of having a rescue capability, in which if we would have bought a rescue truck, even a medium-sized rescue truck would cost $750,000 to $1 million. And so we were like, let's buy the tiller. We can staff it with the same personnel. We don't have to staff another rescue truck. It's better utilization of this truck, and it makes that a kind of a combination truck to do those things with. And that's the main reason that we bought the tiller style apparatus instead of replacing the tower as the tower sits.
Well, I'm excited to go see that new truck, as well as hopefully never see it in action if we don't need to. But of course, looking forward to the men and women that are going to be training in that truck, as well as just getting an opportunity to see all this great equipment to make sure that our citizens are all well protected. So
absolutely, it's
really
going to be a great addition for our city for now and for the future. And it just makes the most sense because you're not trying to staff 2 apparatus, you're trying to staff 1, and not maintain 2 apparatus, you're maintaining 1 and those kind of things.
That's a good cost savings. It
Yes.
really is. So, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, sir.
Absolutely.
You have a great week.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mount Juliet families and friends. You'll have a great week, and looking forward to the next chapter. Have a good day.